Now, everywhere you go, all you hear about is AI. You open your phone, AI. You go to social media, AI. You hear terms like large language models, ChatGPT, and it's easy to feel like it's all very overwhelming. Some people say it's going to take our jobs, others say it's going to completely transform how we work and live. But what is AI really? How does it work, and how can you actually use it to your advantage? Hi, I'm Emmanuel. I'm a software engineer, and over the past few years, I've used AI to automate my work, to help me write code, and improve other aspects of my life and productivity. Today, I'm going to be explaining AI to you so that you can also use it to automate your life, improve your work, and also give you the confidence so that you can explain it to someone else. Let's dive in. At its core, AI is about training a computer to perform a task that will usually require human intelligence. We all have that one friend who knows all about our food preferences. If you ever go and buy wache with them, you don't have to say anything. They can just tell the seller, oh, please give her plenty plantain, more shito, less stew, no salad. The reason they know this about you is because they've been on many trips to buy food with you and they have recognized the patterns in your preferences. With all of this data, they can now predict what you are likely to enjoy, even from a new restaurant that you haven't tried before. And by the way, if you've never had wache before, please, it is a national delicacy. AI works the same way, but instead of remembering just a few meals, it's been trained on millions of examples. It will recognize patterns, understand preferences, and be able to make accurate predictions on what you are likely to watch next as a movie, a meal you want to enjoy, or a song you want to listen to next, based on everything that you have enjoyed already. So it comes down to three key pillars: pattern recognition, probability, and algorithms. Pattern recognition involves spotting similarities and trends in vast amounts of data. Probability is about making predictions based on those patterns that have been recognized. And algorithms refers to a step-by-step instructions that is used to combine the patterns and then the probability to make a decision. So the AI system would first, scan through all of the data, try and see if there are any patterns or trends or similarities or anything like that. Then it will use all of that to be able to make a prediction that this is what's likely to happen next. All right. And then how it's able to make the prediction is that it uses certain instructions or steps, and those steps, that's what we call an algorithm. So if you use, let's say, a movie example, if it has lots of data about all of the movies that people who have watched Game of Thrones also like, it will recognize the pattern as, okay, people who watch Game of Thrones also end up watching House of the Dragon. That is a pattern and then a probability. And then based on certain instructions, it will be able to make that prediction. I hope that's clear. So in AI, we feed algorithms with vast amounts of data. It will recognize all of the patterns within that data and be able to make a prediction based on certain instructions that we have given it. The advantage of this is that it is often faster and more accurate than a human could ever do, because it can work with lots and lots of data. So when it comes to AI, there are actually many different flavors, or the better word is fields or aspects of AI. There's computer vision, which is about helping a computer understand images and what's in them and those kinds of things. It's used in self-driving technology and stuff like that. There's also robotics, recommendation systems, and so on and so forth. Many different aspects and fields of AI. However, what I would like to focus on now is the large language models. So what's used in ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini. So in simple terms, these large language models are trained on vast amounts of text data. Think about it like it has been giving all of the articles on the internet and so on, and like we've explained before, it will recognize all of the patterns within text and how people speak and those kinds of things, how people write, put words together and form sentences and all of that. Then based on new information, it will be able to predict the next word. So all it does in a nutshell is predict the next word. So it doesn't really understand the context of making sense or like those kinds of things. All it understands is text and being able to predict the next word after the other. So if you feed ChatGPT something like "not all heroes wear," the next thing that it will say is "keeps," because it's a very popular statement that has been baked into its trainings. It will not give you banku. It will not say "not all heroes wear banku." That's how these large language models work. They just understand text and output text. I mean, they don't really understand. They just predict text. That's basically it. It doesn't really have an understanding like a human would. It's just like a giant probability machine. Now, these models can be extremely creative. They can help you with brainstorming, coming up with new ideas and stuff like that, because it can just keep generating generating new stuff just based on, what you are talking about at that point in time. It can be extremely useful in summarizing long documents, translating between different languages. So if you use it well, it can really supercharge your productivity. However, on the downside, here are some limitations of these large language models. In case you've not heard me, they don't understand text. They just predict. So the downside is they can hallucinate a lot. What that simply means is they can confidently tell you something that is wrong in a very convincing way. An example was in the early stages, you could ask ChatGPT something like, who won the World Cup in 2026? And it would confidently give you an answer. 2026 hasn't happened yet, so we don't know who will win the World Cup, even though we hope it will be Ghana. We don't know who will win the World Cup, right? But it would give you a response. Now, all of this has been mitigated a little because now if you type this into ChatGPT right now, it would search on the internet to figure out, how to answer the question. So right now, the models are smart enough to know that they have certain limitations, and whenever they ask certain questions that require actual facts, they will do an internet search, get the information before providing an answer. So they themselves do not understand, but they are able to smartly use tools like checking the internet and stuff like that to provide answers. So I'm going to talk briefly about how to make the most out of them. Now, they're extremely powerful. They can help you with so many things, but to get the most out of them, you need to be very specific with your request as much as possible. The newer models like GPT-5 and Claude 4 and stuff like that, you can do something called a brain dump where, you just share everything that's on your mind and give it as much context and everything, and it will just figure it out, right? But even with those models, it's extremely helpful to provide it with relevant context and organized instructions. Your prompt should usually have a goal. I want to write an essay about A, B, C, D, E. I want it to be like this, have this tone, all of that, and then you give all of those instruction and context to the model, and it will be able to do a very good job in generating accurate responses that you would like. So we can try this right now. I put in plan a trip to France, and you give the trip duration and timing. You can see that it was quite vague in the best time to go. It said May to June or September or October. Because I didn't provide the budget, it wasn't sure what budget you should give. It just kind of give something random there and stuff like that. Then it tried to see what itinerary I would like and provide a plan based on that. If I use the same prompt but with more information, I say something like plan a 5-day trip in France in October, include flights from Accra via Emirates, a budget of $2,000, and include some romantic dinner plans and more. It's a decent improvement, but I could still benefit from some more details like the people going and all of that. But even for this, it still gave me something much better. It gave me the flights, it gave me the weather, the things to pack, day by day stuff, the solo traveler budget, so many wonderful things that it gave me. You can try this prompt for yourself and then see the differences between the responses. It's also always good to iterate after the first response. It may not get it right the first time, but just keep trying, just keep going. So in a nutshell, we've understood today that AI is all about pattern recognition, algorithms, and probability. And we've spoken briefly about large language models. I plan to make more of these AI videos and AI explainer videos. If you'd love to see more of it, please leave a comment below and let me know what you'd like me to talk about next. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.